What's poppin', everybody? This is the cartoon kid Ray Rawlins, and today we're doing an episode review of Big Mouth, episode 2, and it is called Everyone Bleeds. Now, before we get into the review, Mr. Alex Payne, give us the episode breakdown of what happens.
Well, this episode is, I guess it's pretty simple to describe, really. Well, going off of last week's episode, or for the first episode, but however you want to put it, because this wasn't weekly. So, yeah, I'll say the first episode, Jesse and Nick are trying to decide if they're in a relationship, and the school goes on a field trip to see the Statue of Liberty. And, they're trying to figure that out, and they're getting involved with the Devons, because apparently all the couples got to stay together. And while they're at the Statue of Liberty, Jessie gets her first period, and she decided to wear white shorts.
Woo! Everybody sees that bloody spot in them shorts.
So Andrew had to help her out. And, well, that's basically the episode. Can't really get much deeper than that.
You know what? Other times I would disagree with you, but I really do agree with you. Like, that's pretty much the premise of the episode, man. My first impressions is I'm gonna be honest. I seen that there's like three seasons of this show, right? 3 or 4, and it just really surprises me. Like, from what I've seen so far, and like I said, all I know about this series is that it's basically explaining how kids go through puberty in a sense. It has nice, funny stories
Yeah.
as like the background and whatnot. And I'm surprised they made it to 3 seasons. But I will say though, for this being my second episode in, I'm really liking it. I mean, it's kind of, it has a stupid premise. I wouldn't say stupid, but it's very educational. Um, I'm really liking the series, to be honest with you. I really can't wait to continue it. So, what is your first impressions?
My first impression, wow. I don't know what to say my first impression was. I guess my first impression was this blood spot was pretty huge.
It was, wasn't it? Because as soon as they zoomed in on it, it's like, whoa, whoa, is she bleeding, or did
Or
somebody just
dying.
stick a knife in it and just go, and you see all the blood just leave a spot in the shorts? And I gotta
Actually,
say, man,
actually, no. I remember what my first impression was because I specifically wanted to mention this, and I'll mention this as my first impression. The plot is kind of similar to the first episode, except like because remember in the first episode, Andrew came in his pants and Nick had to go and help him out, and now in this one, Jessie period in her pants and Andrew had to help her out.
I mean, in a sense, it's kind of like it kind of repeats the sub. I wouldn't even say subplot. It was just like something that happened that led
A
to the
plot
climax.
detail. Yeah.
Right, right. So,
I'm not
but
saying
it's
that's
just
a
kind
bad
of
thing, but it's just a interesting parallel, I suppose. I don't know if that was the point, is because I might want to argue that might have been the point to be like, oh, he helped him out in this one, and now he's helping her out in this one. It's like I don't know if that was intentional or if it was just a
right.
rehash.
Man, do you think that ever happened to some girl in real life? That's real talk.
Oh, I mean, of
I'm dead
course,
serious. I mean,
anything that you can think of that happened has happened to someone at some point. So I'm sure.
man,
Listen, I'm sure. I would listen. I'm willing to bet this probably happened to someone they just didn't tell you.
right. It's so crazy because, man, it's just like, yo, that is the ultimate fucking hit of embarrassment right there. You're out with your friends on a field trip, and then you're wearing white shorts. Then you start bleeding, and one of your homies say, yo, I think you sat in some ice cream. Yeah, she didn't sit in no ice cream, cuh. She ain't sitting no ice cream. Yo, I have never seen ice cream that red in my life. That's just me. I mean, I wouldn't know
Yeah,
what
that
type of
must be
ice
some
cream would be
serious
that
ice
damn
cream, man.
boy. Oh Lord. But I guess we can get into episode favorite parts and moments of the episode. What are some of yours?
Um, one of mine was when friggin' when Jay was talking about making the Statue of Liberty disappear, and then the
Oh
security
yeah,
just
the
come up and snatch him real quick.
oh yeah.
They just say snatched that nigga. They didn't like nothing. It was like gone.
He was like, one of the security guards was, you watched him? And he's like, yeah, of course, he's a brown kid or something like that. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, come on, man. And they freaking snatch his ass up, just quick action. They're in the bag with him doing magic tricks and whatnot, and they're like freaking psyched the fuck out, like, oh my god, you do magic, and they get so excited by him, and obviously they end up letting him go. But that is definitely one of my moments too. We mentioned the whole part of him discover. I think it was Andrew, right, who discovered the little period spot, and it's
Yeah.
just like, man, oh man. I gotta say that
Another funny
monster.
part for me though,
Uh
the real quick. Well, now that you mentioned the monster, and I don't want to steal yours, so I'm gonna leave it up to you if you don't mention it, and I will. But like, a funny part was when she was in the bathroom and she had that other person in there with her who was like grunting and everything. Like,
oh yeah,
go Mets!
that was a straight up lesbian, yo. I don't know if those were like unisex bathrooms, but that was a straight up lesbian up in that bitch. Or it had to be a man or a transgender man going to a woman. Like that voice scared the shit out of me. But I'll tell you this, the whole monster that I was gonna mention, the mermaid one, the French one was like, eh. I say mermaid, Statue of Liberty one, the French bitch, like,
Yeah.
it ain't cool. But we finally see the female version of the hormone monster, and boy, oh boy, she is a motherfucker. And I guess you could say she's black too. Would you agree? Or she kind of has that accent to her, but she looks
I
the same
guess.
as the male hormone monster, Mr. Maurice.
Yeah. And her name is, even though I don't think they said it in this episode, her name is Connie.
Connie. I think they did. I'm not too sure, but it's just so crazy because
Get
obviously,
out, Shannon!
yes, I was gonna mention that because they like played it up to an extreme, in my opinion, like how Jessie switched and like turned on her mom, and her mom's basically backed up like a little bitch. She just basically clammed up. She's like, okay, okay, and I'm like, man, I would beat her ass. I would
Yeah.
whoop that ass.
Listen, you best believe so. But I don't know. But my funny moment for me though was when they were still on the bus and Andrew was trying to figure out a spot to sit, and Maurice pulled up
Oh
behind and was
yeah,
like,
yup.
"Hello, sweetheart," and he's like, "Don't call me that."
Yo, when he was trying to figure out how like to pick a seat, and there was Maurice was like, yeah, hurry up, go sit next to that girl before the seat's taken. You gotta sit next to the teacher. And then he's like, come out here, bud, papa squat. And Maurice was like, no. It's just like that voice, just like I had to rewind that shit. I had to hear that shit again, boy. He got mad as shit. Maurice was not playing. He was pissed.
Oh, and speaking of another moment was at the beginning when Nick and Andrew was talking about her sending him the video, and Maurice was like, tell him to send her a dick pic.
Oh my
Girls
god.
love that, especially when it's random with no context.
You know
That
what?
was
This is
funny.
real talk. This is real talk because I really do wonder this. Because a lot of people obviously send nudes nowadays. Since you just brought that up, how you think? Do you really think like kids at that age be sending that shit? That's real. I really do wonder.
I mean, now probably.
Probably
I
right. I don't know. I want to say no because I have like nieces and shit at that age, and I got nephews. It's like, man, I don't know, man. I don't want to think like that, but obviously technology and
I
shit's
think they
changing. It's
do,
just
but it's just like the quality of it and what it is so terrible compared to what it would be as if you sent it older.
right, probably. I don't know. This is something that always crossed my mind. But I will tell you this though. I liked it when they were getting on the bus and Jessica was talking to the what is the teacher's name? That what the fuck?
Coach
The
Steve.
Coach Steve, okay.
Yeah, the
So
retarded
it
one,
was
Coach Steve.
she was talking to him and she was telling him how she had the period and well, basically he figured it out and he told her he had to take a nice shit and whatnot and he started getting all
So it was
descriptive.
right at the buzzer.
He was right at the buzzer. He was like, You know what? I wasn't completely honest with you. I missed the buzzer. That himself. That and it's kind of messy because I ain't even gonna lie. I like that guy. I love that teacher. That's real talk. I
He
love that teacher.
retarded as hell.
But he's so immature and yeah, retarded too. But it's just like, man, you gotta have that one wacky character who's just like,
Oh
come
yeah,
on, man. Like, I guess you could say South Park. I guess you would say Cartman is that character in South, or maybe I wouldn't say Butters, 'cause Butters ain't shit. But so I guess you could say Stewie's that one outstanding character in Family Guy, or obviously Rick. I mean, he's a protagonist. He's not a side character,
yeah.
but he's that out there character of Rick and Morty. So that he's gonna be that guy of Big Mouth. That's for sure. At least in my opinion. I only
I
seen 2 episodes.
I want to put forth an observation that I feel like I've noticed from kind of day one. I almost feel like Nick's head kind of looks like a dick head. Like, I don't know. It kind of looks like the top of a dick. I don't know.
Is and
I
I
might
keep
just
getting
be freaking out on that, but I really like every time I look at that, it's like that's the tip of a penis.
Nick's head. I would say Nick's head. Nick's the one without the glasses, right? I keep getting
Yeah,
that shit
Nick
confused.
is
I
the
keep getting
short one.
right. Okay. And Andrew's the one in the green with the glass. Okay. I keep getting
Yeah,
names confused. It's gonna take me a minute. I'm only in the second
yeah,
episode, so cut me some slack, y'all. Cut me some slack to the one person who's watching.
yeah. But like for real, his head looks kind of like a dickhead. Like I don't know. It's
A
kind of
dickhead.
freaking me out. Well, not freaking me out, but it's just like I see it
I
every
don't
time.
know.
It's like I don't,
Maybe you're right. I see it more as a
it's
box head, to be
vague.
honest with you.
It's kind of vague. Like you only notice it if you notice it. Because like you said, it's kind of a box set, but it also has that slight tilt to it that could suggest otherwise.
Man, I don't know. I don't. I have not noticed it. I have not noticed it. And best believe when we watch episode 3 or whatever, I'm definitely gonna take a look and see if I notice something. But let's get into the final reviews. Do you want to go with yours first, or you want me to go?
You could go first.
Okay. Like I said at the beginning, you wouldn't expect this show to get as far as it did on the whole idea of like them doing the episodes and writing stories based on like a teenagers or pre-adolescents puberty, puberty adventures. I guess you say I'm trying to think of the right word here, but you wouldn't expect because they got 3 seasons. I'm assuming maybe each one's like maybe 10 episodes, just about,
Yeah.
probably a little bit
Well, I
more.
would say they
And
lean towards some story and stuff like
no,
that
they do,
too.
they
So
do, and just like with this episode, even the last episode, like it was kind of like the last episode was kind of more of like an obvious one. You got two like maybe 12-year-olds, and one friend just ends up seeing his friends, ting 'em,
Kiki.
and it's just like, oh man, it's just that whole little embarrassment phase of the guys. And maybe it's just me being a guy. I already know what that is. I haven't seen. I haven't seen. I haven't seen my home is Dingaling, and I definitely don't
But you've
want
seen the
to. But
neighbors,
no, I have not.
and then
I
you
have not.
tasted it too.
Nah, your mother. But in this episode, it kind of had the same thing happen with the girls, but with them going through their period and whatnot. So I'm really interested to see what the third episode is going to be about, but how they incorporate these ideas into a main story with each episode. I'm only saying that I've seen 2 episodes. I wonder if I'll be saying the same thing as I continue with this series, but from what I'm seeing now, the way they incorporate these ideas with these stories is freaking phenomenal, and that's how they're able to make 30-minute episodes or full-length episodes out of just one small idea relating to puberty. So I gotta say, with this episode especially, it covered it pretty well. I like the fact too that it built off of something happening in episode 1, which you don't
Yeah.
see many cartoons doing. Like, oh yeah, he kissed or she kissed Andrew, or not Andrew, Nick, in
Nick.
the last episode. So we're gonna build off of that, and we're gonna say they're couples and whatnot. And that whole episode basically was built around that idea. So
All of them are built like
that alone is gonna give me some points. Well, you've seen this episode, you've seen this series more than I have. So,
Yeah.
but
No, I'm just telling you. Like, yeah,
that
all
just
of it is
gets
built off of that. It's
that just
serialized.
that just gets extra points for me. So along with like the storytelling, fantastic, loved it. Um, Animation was all right too. I gotta say, like, I'm definitely gonna be looking at Nick's head in episode 3 because I want to see what you're talking about. I want to see it. It's cool that they brought in the female hormone monster. Sounds like a cool, sassy black lady. I like her. She's
Bubble
always
Bear.
bubble bad, yeah. But overall, this episode was pretty damn good. Like I said, the incorporation idea and the story was fantastic. And I really like it. So I'm gonna give it a nice, I'll say 7 out of 10. I want to give it a 7.5, but I would say 7 out of 10.
All right, all right. I thought this episode was enjoyable. Had some really funny moments in it for me, and I like how they like toned down the. I mean, obviously it's prevalent, but the whole idea of Maurice and all that other shit wasn't as extreme as it was in the first episode.
Right. You
Um,
can even argue that's because they're trying to fully introduce you to who he was too.
yeah.
I'll add that to bolster their defense a little bit.
No, yeah, you're probably right. But I at first I was thinking, I wish they kind of, because the whole point was to deal with the period. I kind of wish they would have covered it more. But then again, I thought about it, it's like,
They covered as much as they could, in my opinion.
yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say, because I feel like considering the context, they probably did as much as they could with it, because it's from her perspective, a girl who doesn't know anything about it. So that's all she knows is, oh, my pussy's bleeding now. Yay! So yeah, I thought they handled it well considering the context. Now, um, like you said, the story did was told well. I like that it continued off the last one. The awkwardness between Jesse and Nick at first was kind of funny. Yeah, I just enjoyed the episode in general. So I think I'm gonna give it the same as you, a 7.5.
All right. Now, before we get out of here, I'm gonna let that one person watching, if you want to toss a like or dislike on this video, hey man, do what you need to do. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you like what we do, hey, that'll help us out for sure. But most importantly, whether you like this episode or you didn't, drop a comment in the comment box below. Tell us what you think, and Ray Rawlins will be on the lookout and will respond to all them comments and all that good shit on this video and all the others. But with all that being said, this is the cartoon kid, Ray Rawlins. I'm joined by my good buddy Alex Payne, and this is the Cartoon Kid channel where we talk cartoons and we damn near do it daily. We will see you as we talk about some more cartoons tomorrow. Peace.